It's time to wake up, recover from last night's mess, and get your fix of sports caffeine. It's time to kickstart your day with the latest sports news and opinions. Get ready. Sports Caffeine is live in 3, 2, 1.
And welcome, everybody, to another episode of Sports Caffeine. I am one of your hosts, L. Bushman, but you can call me by Don De La Nooch for this Taco Tuesday edition of Sports Caffeine. Hope everybody's doing well. Of course, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. Make sure to go to manscaped.com for your 20% off and free shipping if you use the code SC2020. That is right. Sports Caffeine is sponsored by manscaped.com. And also Dugout Mugs. Go to Dugout Mugs/Sports Caffeine to get your Dugout customized mug today. Wow, just Kristen's already leaving the show already. So we've got a jam-packed show. Week 2. Oh, there she is. She's displaying the Sports Caffeine Dugout mug. Awesome. Thank you. Model it for us, Kristen, just like Vanna White. Thank you very much. So this past week 2 of the NFL was a crazy one. We've got so many injuries to players across the board. The Falcons don't know really what to do on an onside kick. We'll discuss that later with a very special announcement we have to do today. And we've got some baseball talk with some suspensions coming up and also some pick'em punishments. And yours truly is going to be a part of pick'em punishments for this week. I can't wait to be subjectified to a punishment this week. So as I said before, we have a special announcement to make. He was away for a while. He was on secret agent territory. He was flying through the land of Vietnam and Europe and Germany, trying to make America safe from COVID-19. But we are proud to have back on the show the man of the hour, Chris Chip Settle, is back on Sports Caffeine. Welcome back to the show there, buddy. How are you?
Thank you. What's up, guys, gals? How are we?
What up? Great week for you to come back, Chippy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You laughed and Taylor came in, and God, it's 2020. Anything can happen, I guess.
That's true. Well, I know, Evan, my name, we got Taco Tuesday, and they call me Tostito. So I'll go for that instead of Chip today. So we got Taco Tuesday, Tostito, man with the plan.
So let's
at least someone has a plan on your side.
That is very true. So let's get into NFL Week 2, the highs and lows of what we saw this past weekend on Sunday and on last night as well. Chip, I'm actually going to go to you last because there were some lows for your team.
Are we going to start? Are we going to start with the lows? Let's not do that.
I was going to say all our teams won until Chip joined. As opposed to the first week where all our teams
Let's go with
lost.
the highs. Taylor, what were the highs that you saw? Yes, exactly. So what were some of the highs that you saw out of NFL Week 2 this week?
Well, obviously we can talk Cowboys. Getting off the schneid, but we weren't that impressive in that game. Like I said, I already came to, I've already succumbed to the fact that I thought we were going to lose that game, so I was already at peace with it by the end of it. So I was super excited. But really, what it boils down to is, once again, some of the things we harped on during the show prior on Sunday was Josh Allen. And Josh Allen just is progressing and progressing and progressing. And to put on the show that he did on Sunday, the way I was preaching about him on Sunday, he exceeded those expectations, and he kept getting better. Not only that, but a lot of other random things happened, such as Cam Newton kept them in the ball game and he threw for 400 yards. The Seahawks defense may be suspect. The Saints, who looked great in week 1, got whooped by the Raiders in week 2. So there's a lot of weird things that are going on in the NFL. It could be something that we talked about before. Maybe we're chalking it down to maybe some preseason rust, maybe people making adjustments and some teams not making as many adjustments. It's really hard to say, but I think the highest of the high has to be Josh Allen because of his play, and he's just playing out of his mind, and it's crazy to see. I'm excited for this game this weekend. It's going to be a great game with him with the Rams going up there and playing. That's who they play, right? They go up there and play them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a great
Kristen,
game.
I know some of the highs for you were the Cleveland Browns won on Thursday night against the Bengals. That was a highlight for you. What are your other highs for this past week in NFL Week 2?
Like you just mentioned, the Rams. I mean, the Rams look good. I mean, the Rams are playing like a real team right now, and Sean McVay looks like to have them back in that Super Bowl. I'm not saying going to the Super Bowl, but that Super Bowl season they had, they were playing very, very good and having a high level offense. Packers look like the real deal. Aaron Rodgers, all you have to do is draft a quarterback behind him, and Aaron Rodgers is like, let me show you what I can do. I mean, with nobody, if Aaron Jones had a monster game, I mean, Baltimore looks like the real deal. My other Super Bowl pick, we'll talk about the lows with the Saints, but I mean, like you said, the Raiders in their home stadium, home opener, which I learned this stat, teams opening a new stadium are 6-3 in their home opener, opening a new stadium. So, which, I mean, even with no fans, they get really excited with that new locker room and stuff. But Ryan Tannehill, I thought he was going to digress. I thought the Titans weren't really there. And Ryan Tannehill looks like he might have another pretty good season. But above and beyond that Sunday night game, when have we ever gotten a great Thursday night game and a great Sunday night game? Cam Newton looks like he's fitting very, very well in the New England offense. Maybe Bill Belichick is the quarterback whisperer, and Russell Wilson might MVP pick already. I mean, I can't believe the guy's never gotten an MVP vote before. Like Russell Wilson, already my early candidate.
Yeah,
Chip,
you guys listed all the fun highs. Jeez. I think.
Chip, what do you got for some highs over this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Arizona, Kyler Murray, everybody's clicking. It seems like Hopkins is fitting in really well. I wish their running game got a little bit more going. I mean, Kenyon Drake had an okay game. He didn't score. But like Arizona, Kyler Murray's just as explosive as we've all seen and thought. He's great. But also, and Kristen, you touched on it, I love the Rams and I love the Packers. This is Aaron Rodgers pretty much just spitting in management's face going, why did you draft a quarterback? Look at me. I've got a ton in the tank. I can still find everybody, and I can still play this game. So, I mean, if you're the Packers organization, I'm kind of looking at it going, we could have made our team even better. We're getting by with what we have. And imagine if we spend that pick somewhere else. So, I don't know.
One game away from the Super Bowl.
But also drafting behind Aaron Jones, and Aaron Jones is going out and doing the same exact thing. It's like Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones are in the same spot. But if they go down, which we've seen the injuries, can we talk about the injuries real quick? Do you guys chalk this up to no OTAs? I mean, the amount of injuries and devastating, like Nick Bosa out for the season, Saquon out for the season, McCaffrey's missing time. I mean, a lot of first round picks are gone. Is this chalked up to no preseason, no OTAs, your body's not getting used to being hit, or are these guys just weak? What's going on?
I would contribute that to no OTAs and no preseason. I mean, a lot of these guys didn't have a lot of time to train, and we didn't know what was going to happen because of COVID-19. And then you're kind of flung into it, and then bam, regular season happens, and then you guys got going down like flies. I definitely think without OTAs and preseason, these injuries probably would have been avoided. But without that, now we've got a lot of star players that are out for the season. So. Thoughts?
I actually don't think that's the case. I think it's just because it's more high profile players, so it seems like a lot more. But I think every year we get the same amount of injuries, and a lot of these injuries are non-contact injuries. So you're not going to do anything about it, regardless of whether or not they go out first. Just like that one year, Brady went out there first preseason game, gets knocked out. Michael Vick gets knocked out first preseason drive. So, stuff happens every single year. Just so happens that a lot of these people,
if they had that contact in training camp and that contact in preseason, even a little bit, your body takes a little bit of a hit to the knee when it takes a full blown hit. I mean, I disagree with you, Taylor. I agree with Al Bushman. Hence, I brought up the point. But it is really devastating, and that's why in fantasy, going to these deep guys, you want to see a Naheem Hines who actually shit the bed this week, but that's why fantasy is so important. Your 8th, 9th round guys that can step up for these injuries. But it is really sad to see, but also makes fantasy that much more interesting.
Well, yeah, you had to draft. You had to draft really strategically, and also looking at some of the injuries, guys. If we look at it as a whole, you're seeing a lot of running backs. You're seeing younger guys who haven't been in the league, who haven't conditioned. So they really don't know what it's like to get ready in an offseason. They've only had 1 or 2 seasons. So maybe they didn't do as much. I mean, all the running backs that we talked about, the fantasy relevant ones, Saquon Barkley, you had Raheem Mostert, you had
McCaffrey's hurt.
Thank you. McCaffrey as well. So you also had Tevin Coleman, who also injured his, I think, MCL as well. So there are a couple of teams that the majority of the injuries have been to running backs and kind of position-relevant players. Those guys touch the ball a lot. They're involved in contact, and they're all younger. So maybe there could be something to that. But fantasy, if you've got shares of Jerick McKinnon, you're loving life right now. You're at least going to get a week or two probably maybe just Jerick McKinnon.
He's on all my waivers right now, trying to get him.
I don't even know who's the backup running back for Carolina. Even I don't even know.
It is Mike Davis.
Who
will be starting this
South
coming
Carolina
week.
Zone.
Yeah, Mike Davis will be starting this week. So if you're on the waiver wire, look for Mike Davis, and also I think Dion Lewis is also a high waiver pickup as well. So pick up him.
Yes.
So let's go into the lows of the lows. I know the injuries was one of the biggest thing, but actually I want to get this queued up real quick because I know this is the lowest of the low.
Oh no! Is it going to bring a tear to my eye?
Yeah, so we're going to go right to
Oh
the replay of this.
Pop some champagne.
So
God.
Chip, I want to know your thoughts on all of this going on right now. It looks like they're playing a game of spin the bottle or patty cake because they don't know where the ball is at. They're not falling down on the ground. So as a Falcons fan, what do you make of this type play where you let the Dallas Cowboys come back and you guys just shat the bed once again? Even though it is regular season. I mean, this game doesn't really mean nothing, but still you're blowing a huge lead. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to play this
play,
one more time.
I mean,
one more time.
Was decisive, but they didn't blow the whole lead with one play. Thank God. If they had the opportunity,
I know that
they probably could. But no, this play. I mean, this goes down to special teams work, and this is a drill that coaches do every day. And we talked about it a little bit before the show started. The Falcons just got too lackadaisical around the football, waiting for it to go 10 yards. I mean, this is a live football. We all know there's going to be a penalty called if it gets touched before then, but if you're in the position, see, now look at this. When this kick goes off, you're going to see a lot of Falcons waiting and waiting and waiting, and you know it's got to keep going.
Stop it
right here. Look at this.
Right.
You can take. There was an opportunity before that football gets to that 10-yard line where guys. I want to cry right now that we just keep reliving this. But
I was sitting there being like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. I saw my guy standing there. I was like, no, wait.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be aggressive. If you see your window and you can jump and cover the football before it gets to 10 yards, you can do that. If somebody else touches it and you don't grab it, it's an active football, and that's what they were nervous.
Now,
but
Chip, was the game plan for this onside kick for Dan Quinn and company is play hot potato. Play hot potato and see what happens. Was that the game plan for Dan Quinn and the Falcons?
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. They were practicing social distancing. Maybe the football was sick. I don't know what it was, but I mean, you have to take. Yeah, you have to take that situation and jump on the football.
Look at offense is really good. Calvin Ridley looks great. The defense blows. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's awful.
But also, you know what? Dak Prescott, all the credit in the world. I hate saying this, but I do have him in one league. But from coming back from that fumble to 3 rushing touchdowns, he was like -2 for most of the first half and finished with 57 fantasy points in my league. Like Dak Prescott, all the credit in the world to you, Taylor, and your quarterback. He is a leader, and he takes the team on his shoulders, and he turned that game around. So I think if you were playing the Browns or any other team, you might still win that game. I just think you had the wrath of Dak Prescott, who's a leader and a winner.
Well,
Taylor, I got a question for you, real quick.
Okay.
What does this really say about the Cowboys, though? I mean, going forward.
That's what I wanted to ask.
What does this say about them?
I mean, it says our defense is garbage. Really, is what I mean. Our secondary is pretty bad. We can kind of hurry the quarterback a little bit every now and then, but he was getting the ball out pretty quick. Our run defense is decent, but really, Dak's going to have to win us a lot of games this year, and he's going to get paid at the end of the year. Is really what it's going to boil down to. The other question that I was going to harp on was Chip was talking about coaching. with the Falcons on that onside kick. I thought it alluded more so to them not knowing how to win a game, because there's a process when you have that big of a lead and you're progressing down the field at will, as they were for most of the game. There's a way to win a game and to run out the clock and methodically get down the field and be able to churn the game and be able to win a game. Much like with the Super Bowl, they didn't do the exact same thing, but they could have put that game away by actually churning out drives and getting points, because they were doing it. And we talked about
the mentality of they're expecting to lose a game, because if you're expecting to win a game, it's almost like The Secret, like what you put out and you get back.
So they put Gage back there to throw a pass. I mean, they trick plays, all this stuff. It's like, no, you guys are winning, doing what you're doing, methodically end the game and put your foot on the throat and get this game over with. And that's why you guys deserve to win that game. And I'm thrilled that we won it, obviously, because we needed it. But I thought the coaching was more so about being able to close out a game as opposed to that onside kick.
Chip, I want to go to you next. What does this really say about the Falcons going forward? I mean, now it's just like, what's going on?
I actually picked the Falcons to win this weekend, to be honest with you.
I'm surprised Dan Quinn hadn't gotten fired yet.
Yeah, and I think that the Falcons have had the opportunity. Obviously, now is not the optimum time to find a coach that you want to bring in. So firing a coach, obviously, season is something tough to come back from. But this shows the Falcons have always had an elite offense. I mean, I just don't. The defense is where we've always struggled, and we kind of bring in different pieces. And there's sometimes older pieces, and we try to shine them up and give them a little bit of luster and make them shine. But it takes key players in key positions. I think the Falcons have. I still think running back. I mean, you signed Todd Gurley. He's not doing great things. I mean, he's doing average, but you're not paying him average. You're paying him more than I would have paid somebody else. So I think you could have done better in that market. And I mean, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, that window's closing. I mean, that's not going to be around forever. You've got good cohesion kind of on the line. You've got guys that have played with each other. Calvin Ridley stepping up. You got Hayden Hurst, which I would have loved to have seen him a little bit more involved. But, I mean, I love our offense, but we've just never plugged any holes really on defense.
Yeah, with the Cowboys, it's one good thing that our division's so bad that we can drop a game here and there, because playing the Eagles and the Giants, and we're going to sweep all six of those games. So
I'm excited now. Your boy from the Falcons, Devontae Freeman, got signed by the Giants today, and Lewis injury, and I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder and something to. I don't know. I'm surprised he was a free agent for so long, because I never thought he was bad. He was a serviceable back. So
wanted too much cheddar cheese. That's why he wouldn't get signed.
Yeah, well, he's signed now. Yeah,
exactly.
And he never plays a full season.
Let's stay with the NFC. Let's stay with the NFC South. The Buccaneers got their first win under the new Tom Brady era against the Carolina Panthers over the weekend. Looked pretty good.
Had his first win in the Leonard Fournette era of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Very true. The Bucs, I thought, they look decent. I still think there's a lot of room to be held. I think they need to improve on a lot of other things, like their secondary, because in the second half, they could have blown that game and Carolina could have stormed back and won that game. Are the Bucs on the right track? Or are you guys still maybe skeptical about Tom Brady and the Buccaneers going forward?
I'm where I was to start the season. Now I'm thinking they're 8-8, 7-9, like I said before. In this game, they looked like they had more practice. Like Brady and Mike Evans were a little bit more on the same page. They were still getting after the quarterback, but their defense is just not good. And they almost let that game get away to a not good team. So, I mean, Brady doesn't look that great. He's on the page a little bit. Gronk, I don't know where Gronk's been. I haven't seen Gronk even make a catch or done anything.
Mons Venus.
Yeah, he's at Mons the whole game, or at Winghouse across from the stadium until the game's over. But Fournette's obviously took over the reins as the running back there, and because he looks good, he looks fast. It's gonna be an interesting week, I think. This week, I picked them to win this week, but I'm not very confident about them this week.
Kristen, thoughts? Do you think the Bucs are on the right track or skeptical? Are you still kind of iffy about them?
That Todd Bowles' defense is always supposed to be this high-rated defense, and like you said, Taylor, the defense is the problem. The offense, Mike Evans was living in game one, Godwin's out, whatever, game two. Like Brady's still feeling his way. Fournette obviously proved it just took 1 week. But yeah, I am a little bit concerned. I'm concerned more for the NFC South. We thought this was going to be a really competitive division. I don't think there's any defense at all in this division. Like Carolina doesn't have a defense. Atlanta doesn't have defense. Clearly, Bucks on the Saints last night, too. This is just so. If you have fantasy guys, or if you need somebody, go to the NFC South. Just pick up Traquan Smith or pick up anybody because
who's playing the NFC down South defense? This is
going to be competitive, because it's going to be an offensive shootout every time. And I think the Bucks are figuring it out a little bit on offense. I do think there's some rust. I think Brady's going to get better. He had 10 points in my league as fantasy quarterback. I definitely thought he was going to do better, but I don't give up on the Bucks yet. I think they might still. They have too much talent to not figure it out. But they squeaked by. They could have lost that game.
Chip, we're in the same division as one another, and we'll be playing you guys a couple months from now. What are your thoughts on the Bucks? How do you think they looked yesterday?
I think continuity is key here for everybody that's been in the offseason. And I think that, NFL playbooks and systems and schemes are not the same language. They have similar verbiage, but it's basically like Tom Brady was with the Patriots and he spoke French his entire career. And now someone's just asked him to go speak Swahili. And you can't – it's not ever going to be a quick transition. You're not going to get instantaneous success. I mean, it's going to be a bumpy road. You're going to learn the system. Arians throws the ball a lot. So, he's got a great potential to put up a lot of numbers. But, you guys have hit on some of the points. Obviously, Gronk, someone needs to phone home and find him, dude. I don't think he had any – did he have any fantasy points? Did he have any catches? Do you have anything?
Yeah, one catch in the first week, I think.
Yeah, I think he had a catch, but it turned out it was for a pass interference call, I think.
He did get the onside kick, though.
Yeah.
Got that.
Onside kick, don't say that word. But, I think –
I remember
that. Still skeptical, but, I mean, this team is going to get better. And like Kristen said, I mean, they have a lot of talent. So you give it some time to gel. It's, it's going to cook, and it'll get better.
I watched the game, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. My tune has changed because I was really high on this team. I said 11-5, which 11-5 with all the things on paper look good, and I'm almost comparing them now to the Cleveland Browns of last year. It looks good on paper, and then this could be a disaster. And I might have to agree with Taylor. Like this could be an 8-8 team or a 9-7 team. It can't be an 11-5 team with the defense looking like this. You can't give up that much points to the Carolina Panthers. Like they contained CMC for most of the game, but when it came to their secondary, they were giving up like so many yards per pass. It was like, what do you guys? And the also thing too is the play calling in the second half of the offense was they had their foot on the gas in the first and second quarter. Once you get after halftime, it's, hey, we're gonna let the foot off. We're gonna maybe ease on off a little bit and maybe not put our knee on the throat and close this game out. It was just like, why do that? Ring up the score on these guys and the drop passes from all the wide receivers that weren't Mike Evans. Like you had constant drops. They should play little giants before each game, and those guys can look at the stick 'em. Like
your boy Scotty Miller dropped that.
Yeah,
one
like all those guys had drop passes. So if I was Brady, I'd be like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, I get it. It's week 2. They're still kind of figuring each other out, but like you can't be still figuring each other out in week 4 or week 5 or week 6 and beyond. You have to get it together by then. And when it comes to the defense, top bowls, you guys have to defend somebody, because when you play the Chiefs, when you play the Packers coming up, and when you got to play New Orleans again.
Well, that's the reason why I think I'm skeptical about them and other teams as well, because you look around the rest of the league, and I watch every game, and I'm watching these other teams who have their shit together. I mean, and so there's teams like the Bills, they look great. The Packers, they look great. The Chiefs, obviously, they look great. The Ravens, they look great. Like they have obviously things they need to work on, but they're not glaring like they are, I feel like, with some other teams. Like I feel like with my Cowboys, with our secondary, with your secondary. I mean, Falcons, obviously.
Bad of last week. Take this conversation all the way back to the bad. Kirk Cousins, 113 yards.
Wow. Stinker alert. Stinker alert.
I think I said this at Ed's Tavern about 2 years ago. Kirk Cousins is trash.
Well, that helped out my Super Bowl pick, the Colts, because I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and they got off the schneid.
In my fantasy league, Kirk Cousins, thank God, was on my bench. He got me negative. Well, I dropped him today, but he was negative 1.43 points in fantasy if you had Kirk Cousins in a PPR half-point league. So,
Maybe check Stefanski was the glue that held Minnesota together, and now
we shall see going forward for the Cleveland Browns. So, all right, let's move on let's go back to the injuries of all the guys that were hurt over the weekend. And we're going to do a segment that we'd like to call State Your Case. And you know what? State Your Case this week is brought to you by manscaped.com, where you can get 20% off your next order and also free shipping. So let's state your case, guys. Which team really is hurt by the injury bug? Taylor, state your case.
I'm going 49ers for sure.
Shocker.
Okay. Well, the whole team died.
Exactly my point. So they have 0 receivers, and they were basically relying on that defensive line, and with Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa and everyone just out for the season now, it's going to be rough, man. And Mostert getting hurt as well. It's going to be rough for them. I mean, Saquon getting hurt, it's fine. I mean, the Giants were going to be good anyway. CMC getting hurt. I mean, the Panthers aren't going to be good anyway.
You can't name all of them. You state the case.
Yeah,
One
team.
One team. 49ers. That's it.
All right, you're done. All right, Chip, state your case. Which team really got hurt by the injury bug? State your case.
I'll take the second easy one. I'll say the Carolina Panthers. CMC, all-world player, was drafted number 1 in fantasy. I mean, pretty much in every league we know. Now you're getting the ball back to a team that's changed offensive strategies. You have a college football coach running an NFL team. You just lost your best offensive player. Hide the women and children. It's going to get bad in Carolina.
All right, Kristen, which team?
Which team? I was going to go with the second one, which I totally thought he was going to take my New York Giants, because that's the second one. They have no offense. Saquon Barkley is the offense. Saquon is everything. I mean, Danny Dimes, sure, he can move, he can run, but he can also get intercepted and sacked and fumbled. So, yeah, Saquon Barkley being out, I mean, and CMC's only out for 4 to 6 weeks. Saquon's out for the year. That is really so they're bringing in Devontae Freeman. We'll see what he does, but New York losing Saquon. I mean, and also every single fantasy team who lost Saquon Barkley for the season. I am so sorry for you.
I am not, because I did not pick Saquon. So if you did,
that's right.
Screw you. And all right,
we'll have a luck of not getting the second pick. We act like we didn't pick him. Like we just picked him.
That has been another edition of State Your Case, brought to you by manscaped.com. All right. Well,
guys, I have to say one quick thing for the injuries. The injuries. Yes. I was sitting here before the show came on. Have all you guys seen The Money Pit?
Yes.
The movie?
Funny movie. Tom Hanks, yes.
Dude, there's a scene, and Al Bushman, you can help me out with this, where he's trying to pour water in the tub in the house they've just bought, and the tub falls through. Yeah. And he just starts laughing hysterically. Yep. That's the noise that I was basically making with injuries every time someone came up, because there was Twitter, and you just had tickers of like every 5 minutes there was like, somebody just tore their ACL. Somebody just sprained their MCL. I was like, wow, this is just.
I don't think the NFL had enough golf carts. I think they had more golf carts.
I know. I was messaging Evan. I was like, Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
The alerts on my phone kept going off. My battery died within like 30 minutes. Like I kept getting alerts from like Taylor, ESPN, everybody in my fantasy league. It was just like, what is going on? Like somebody had died, and like basically
Black Sunday
died.
for sure.
Yeah.
No COVID. Like there's
not non-COVID related.
Non-COVID related. Second week in a row that the NFL has 0 COVID tests for positive, but everybody goes down with like injuries. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's move on to baseball. Of course, the Tampa Bay Rays are 1 win away from clinching the AL East. They are playing the New York Mets right now. I believe the score is tied 1-1. So all they need to win is tonight.
They're losing 2-1.
They're losing 2-1? Okay, well, either way. They need 1 win to clinch the AL East going into the playoffs. Hopefully they do that. The Tampa Bay Lightning won last night triumphantly over the Dallas Stars.
Thank God.
3-2, just tie up the score 1-1. We're staying in the baseball mode. Chapman got suspended a couple of months ago for throwing at the head of a Tampa Bay Ray player. He was supposed to be suspended. They were going to suspend him, I believe, 5 games for that, malarkey. But apparently they won't be able to suspend him until next year because the lack of witnesses. I call bullshit. But I want to get your guys' thought. Is this bullshit or believable? Chip, I will go with you. Is this bullshit or believable that Chapman's suspension is going to be done next year instead of this year?
I mean, I don't know how you can carry on and suspend a player when it was in plain view. I mean, obviously the entire situation was what we saw, and that was, I mean, everybody saw it. So why would you carry that over till next year? We're playing baseball this year. He needs to serve his sentence this year. Why would you?
Right,
Why would
and
you?
and the quote unquote lack of witnesses, like witnesses, everybody saw it.
If this was a Rays actual home game, this would still be a problem, right? Because like, how is there a lack of witnesses? This is on camera, 2 teams, an entire outfield, an entire dugout. How are there a lack of witnesses?
I just attribute it to Yankee bias. Really, was what it boils down to.
Yep.
I mean, when he got suspended before for domestic abuse, but this was back in the Cubs days, and they did the same thing. So they waited. They wanted the Cubs to win the World Series. And then they said, all right, we'll start you out next season missing some games. It's like, come on, bro.
I think it's bullshit because now if the Yankees survive and get into the playoffs, you still have him locked and loaded for the closer position going into the playoffs.
About it though, because like maybe the Yankees don't make it, and then you have Chapman suspended for 5 games next year, which is better for both of you who are in the East right there.
No, I'd rather have him suspended for the playoffs where I don't have to face him in the playoffs. I'd rather not see 100 more.
Make it the playoffs. Are they? Have they?
They're already in.
They're already in. They clinched a playoff spot. So now you have a guy that should have been suspended, but now he's able to play even though he should have been suspended.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like,
the evil empire prevails, even when good tries to triumph.
Rob Manfred. Stooge of the year, like just licking at the teat of the New York Yankees. So yeah, I think it's a bunch of bullshit malarkey.
Between now and then, and get like another 50 games. So
either way, whatever. All right, so Pick'ems.
Yeah, he's not a good person.
Pick'ems we did this past week. Taylor is so far in first place for our Pick'ems, unfortunately, but he's only by 1 game. That separates a lot of people. I came in last place as well as Kaylee, and Nick is last place again. We all saw Nick and his shaved beard, and I wanted to say
that was the weirdest thing.
His kids didn't recognize him.
That was the de-evolution of a man from a bearded wonder to almost a scary-looking man. Yes.
We also had the mano y mano bet where now he has to dance in a cheerleader's outfit, a Falcons cheerleader's outfit, and did the Dirty Bird.
So he has 2 punishments to do.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys to pick my punishment. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Yeah. Or actually, you know what? You guys can nominate a punishment for me. We'll put it on Twitter, and that's how we'll get it done.
Let me don't look at the style. I gotta get a little creative with this. I didn't have anything ready.
Well, you need to have something ready.
Well, I'm gonna go private message your wife first, and then get something ready.
There we go.
Please don't do that.
Limitations of what I'm allowed to do here.
Gotcha. All right, Taylor, what do you got for a nomination?
I always got you in a Blue Jays jersey, having a video of you hitting a walk-off home run over the Rays to win the pennant. And you have to go around the bases and say, okay, Rays, yeah, we win, go Blue Jays. Yeah, shake your booty. Hit the home run, walk off.
I actually kind of think that's pretty funny, but okay. All right, Chip.
Do you still have your band uniform?
No, they took that back.
Oh man, we do have pictures of him in his band.
Listen,
I could find. I have a yearbook somewhere.
Listen, I'm proud. I wore that thing proud, and I would wear it again if they didn't take it back after I graduated. Okay,
I'm gonna find the band uniform, and I'd like you to come into next Sunday's show. I don't know, what did you play? Drum, flute?
I played drums. I was in the cool part of the band. I was the drum.
Were you the main guy?
Yes.
I was drumline captain. I was not the drum major. I was in drum line.
Okay, great. You're going to do my new thing is drum line. I'll make you a uniform. I'll get some tissue paper and cut it up and put it on your shoulders.
Oh, that'd be good.
So that is your punishment. Okay.
Yeah.
Chip, what would be your nomination for
the Rays? Used to have a drum line, didn't they?
No, that was the Marlins, I think.
Jay Kitty in the drum line.
Yeah. The Mavs do at the Mavs games. I know that.
Chip, what would be your punishment for me?
Did I see something on Twitter that talked about eating a can of Vienna sausages?
And drinking.
We talked about that last week. Yeah.
Dude, I was sitting there and I was like, is this real life? Really? I mean, I almost want to gag now just thinking about that. Just even opening that.
James came up with that punishment.
If I ever lose, I'll do anything that involves me not eating something. That's why I always say, like, fear factor, I would win, except for the eating something part. I would lose that.
I saw that punishment and laughed, but I'm kind of like Taylor. I usually don't want to eat stuff. Like that's kind of I don't know if I can deal with all that. So that might be a little extreme, but
Did you eat
I
the
think the
cinnamon
dressing,
last year?
huh?
Did you eat cinnamon last year? Was that you or is that our
No,
other?
no.
Oh.
We talked about we took that off the table
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
people
because someone
actually
went to the
choke.
hospital or something, right?
Yeah, people
That's what
choke
they
and
Yeah.
end up in the hospital. Which I know you guys love me. You don't need to show it like that much. So, I think the dressing up. I mean, I think that's kind of where it's at now. Band uniform. I think that would be like.
Okay.
But we got high school pictures, right? We got a yearbook of you, so maybe something
Well,
like it.
I got a lot of free time. I can make I got some I can make a drum.
That's not really a punishment for me, you guys. It's not. Like,
Well, we
I'm
get
not
to make the
embarrassed
band
by that.
uniform.
Paper
Yeah,
band
we get to
uniform.
make the band uniform. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think that
really.
would be punishment.
All right, I will put that on Twitter. I'll get the nominations also from Kaylee and James as well. So we'll have enough punishments to go around. So,
Oh, wait,
But what about theirs?
oh wait, well, yeah. Okay, so we got to nominate Kaylee's and Nick's. So, Chip, go.
An easy one. I think she's got to do the 5 burpees because it's always an easy one, and girls always do the burpees. So I'll give her the burpees.
Burpees, Chip.
Burpees.
I mean, I have to meet her, don't I? And at least say hi to her before I give her a punishment. I at least want to introduce myself and say hi. I'll go with Kristen's punishment. How about that?
The burpees. All right,
yeah,
Taylor. What do you,
I'm going with she has to dress up like Gardner Minshew.
she would do that.
I know
She would
she
do
would.
that.
I
That's a good
know
one.
she would. But she's got to go with like the mustache and the jorts
Okay.
and the all that stuff. So she's got to do like replica.
She's actually doing it already.
Well, there you go. Then you're talking about burpees. I'm talking about something a little more exciting.
Let's see. Look, I would say I'll go with the burpees, but we got to add in something too. After the burpees she does,
Like shot or something.
She's got to do like she's got to say I love Antonio Brown or something like that, or
Yeah.
or she's got to take a dirty shot.
Well, it's 5 shots is long. You could be
Or
like,
Leonard Fournette, I love you, or something.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette, I love you.
tell us how much she loves us between each one. She's got
Okay.
And then I'm running out of stuff for Nick. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we can't make his kids not notice him. His kids didn't even know who it was.
I think for Nick, we should have him wear a dress.
Perfect.
Wear a
Wow.
dress.
Well,
Wear-
I mean, I'm doing the
Oh
cheerleader.
my
And doing
God, I have a perfect dress I could bring.
Nick's got to wear a dress, and then he's got to serve drinks at Rafferty's for like 5 minutes.
Oh my God, it's such a good
well, like
dress.
in between breaks or something like that.
Yes. So Nick's in between breaks. He's got to wear a dress and serve drinks. Kaylee's is going to be the burpees, and then mine will be put on and nominated by the fans. Okay, I gotcha.
Perfect.
All right. Perfect.
That's good. I like it.
Okay. All right. So
But
before
there usually won't be a 3-way tie every week.
no, it won't be. Hopefully, oh God,
No,
no.
I feel like it's predictable games. Last couple of weeks were kind of like it was like if you were predicting preseason. You know, they're very like the Saints game last night. So we're starting to get to these tougher matchups. You know,
That's a good
No,
segue,
this-
Kristen. That's a good segue, Kristen. Because before we get on out of here, I want to talk about the Saints Raiders game. What does this say about the Saints? I mean, they killed the Bucks, week 1, and then they go into Las Vegas in the shiny new stadium that the Raiders have and lose to the Raiders. The Raiders look good. I mean, they're cohesive unit John Gruden looks pretty good against the Saints. What does this say about the Raiders? What does this say about the Saints going forward?
So
Drew Brees looks like he's lost a little bit on the edge. I think without Michael Thomas there, who can catch anything within a 15-mile radius, I did call it though. Emmanuel Sanders had no targets. I don't think he had any targets or any catches. And I
0.
think McLaren, part of my fantasy advice. But yeah, I really think this offense, once they lost Mark Ingram, they didn't have the 2-headed monster. Latavius Murray's never been that for them. He had a little bit, but yeah, it just seemed like they were lost without Michael Thomas and they had nowhere to go. Like Taysom Hill didn't have his little Swiss Army knife package. The defense did not look good. I don't think the Raiders are that good. I think the Saints really just didn't know what to do. They were almost lost.
Well, yeah, Drew Brees got roasted today for the arm strength thing, and he said, he's really just trying to harp on being a leader and blah blah blah, or always trying to deflect. But his numbers are he only has his average is 4 yards in the air per pass, which is the lowest in the league by far. And I mean, like I said before the season even started, it looked like at the second half of last season his skills were declining, and he was really throwing a lot of slants, a lot of fades, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of stuff like that to try and mask the fact that his arm strength was gone. And arm strength was never really his strength per se anyways, but it was more so, being accurate, kind of like a Minshew or kind of like a Joe Burrow. Burrow doesn't have the strongest arm, but, but it's glaring at this point. You need to be able to extend the defense. And when they can just box you in within that 10-yard radius and not worry about anything else. They don't have a deep threat. I mean, Michael Thomas isn't even that fast. They have Smith, and that's it. I mean, so.
Chip, what does this say about the Raiders? Do you think they're actually pretty decent, or was this just a bad Saints team for week 2?
Well, and I think you saw a dinged-up Saints team. I mean, you take a guy like Michael Thomas, that's an all-pro. That's a guy that catches – his body's made of Velcro. So, I mean, whenever the ball hits him, he ends up catching it. So, that's just a team that lost an impactful player. But for the Raiders, this is a team, guys, that kept all of their offensive line together. They have the same quarterback. They drafted some younger wide receivers. They still have some continuity in the backfield. So this team offensively didn't change really at all. Hunter Renfrow, those guys had a year under their belts. So, I mean, they kept everything together. Waller's coming off a great year. So they stayed together. They didn't change systems. So they had no preseason. Great. Yeah, they had no preseason, no OTAs, and they knew what they had to do to go out and beat the Saints, and they executed. So you got to give them credit where credit's due.
All right, guys. We are going to head on out at Sports Caffeine live on Taco Tuesday Sports Night. Of course, you can stream us on fanstreamsports.com, and also to make sure to download the app as well to listen to our replay shows, and also on Anchor, .fm, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. And make sure to follow us on our socials at Sports Caffeine 1 on Twitter, and also at Facebook at Sports Caffeine. And you can also stream us on the show at Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, and on Facebook Live. Guys, any last news or notes before we get on out of here? Actually, I want to say before the news and notes, Chip, it is so welcome to have you back on the show. We missed you very much.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see you on Sunday for the NFL.
Oh, yeah. So exciting.
So any last news or notes? Chip, I'll go with you first.
Dude, San Diego Chargers defense, high five. Coming out of nowhere, pretty much containing the Chiefs for most of the game until it got down to it. So big shock there for me, at least.
Kristen?
Mine is – oh, go ahead, Kristen.
I was just going to say, terrible game Thursday night. Now we're back to the terrible Thursday night's game. But I will have my Stuttermer Sit-Ems out Friday.
Awesome.
I'm not going to do my Thursday night show anymore because there's football. Nobody wants to watch me when there's football. So you guys, I'm number 1 in 2 of my fantasy leagues. I'm one of my other, but I'm number 1 overall points and everything. So yeah, you should listen to my show because it'll help you out.
Very nice.
So Friday after that.
Mine is I've already done my picks this week, and there are a lot of 50-50 games. There's a lot of great matchups this week. I'm super excited for a lot of them. My Cowboys are going to Seattle. Woo! That's going to be a doozy up there. Their defense didn't look as good, so I'm ready to rock this weekend for sure. Monday night, KC and Baltimore. Oh, my Lanta. That's going to be the best. I'm excited.
That will be probably the game of the week on Monday.
For sure.
So. All right, for myself, Don De La Nucci, Taylor, Kristen, and Chip, we will see you guys live at Rafferty's Bar and Grill at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from 11:30 to 12:30 for our NFL pregame show. Make sure to come on out. There's drink specials all day. We will be doing the pick and punishments. I will be putting up the votes will go on Twitter, and then Kaylee, you will see her do our punishment. I think we should add in she has to dress as Gardner Minshew doing the burpees.
Even better.
She dresses Minshew doing
mustache.
The burpees. Yeah, and then Nick's got to dress up as in a dress serving drinks at
Dirty Bird,
and doing the Dirty Bird.
And doing the Dirty Bird. Okay, gotcha. All right, we're gonna see you guys on Sunday. Hopefully, have a great night. Let's go Rays. Let's go Lightning. We will see you guys soon.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Sports Caffeine, available for streaming on fanstreamsports.com and FanStream Sports, the app.